Wednesday, August 11th, and we're going to, I feel the same way, Charlie, daytime! And so we're going to get into the learning for today, or learning, as it's going to be so far, and eventually, yes. In case for those of you who are wondering, your first thing Friday, you begin a project for me. That's going to involve you doing real work. Like you're going to be doing writing and interviewing. It involves you giving a speech. You're going to be standing in front of the class. Like it's all there. It's coming. This was me trying to be nice to you, and I was putting it off a little bit as I did like my little intro-y bits. But eventually, we get to the real learning bits. Like it's coming here soon. All right, and then to there, so you guys have the yellowy sheet. All right, home children. There's going to be a moment here in a second where I'm going to pause it because I'm going to be going around picking up the yellow sheet. That's kind of boring, but we'll get there. Meet the teacher tonight. For those of you unaware, tonight we have the whole meet the teacher thing where they get to come in. This is not like a one-on-one thing. I don't just sit there with your parent and be like, Bobby makes poor choices and I've already had to beat the child in front of the kids 4 times. Tonight is just like they get to go around to each teacher's classroom for like 10 minutes and we just have like a spiel where we say stuff to them and then that's it and they go to the next class. Like tonight is mostly for your parents just to get to personality, meet us, we hand them out, stuff like that. Ooh, curiosity. How many of you guys know your parents are coming tonight? Yeah. If they are, yeah. If they're not coming, I record tonight, just like I do right now, and it'll be out there. Like I have a handout they can get, and they can record it, they can get all the same stuff. So hopefully that makes things a little bit easier on them as far as coming. Also, I'm the same way tonight. So like when they come in, it's not like I'm going to be dressed in a suit and just standing here like, I am here to educate your children and make them better people, because that would not be fun for me. And two, it probably when they came home, they're like, what are you talking about? Your teacher's completely normal. You're like, no, I swear he's insane. I'm the same way. Like tonight when I come in, I like, boom, I kick the door open, I walk in like, let's get it on! And I just start going straight at your parents, like, ah! And their hair goes flying back. It's great. Now, this is the first time I've done this with purple hair, so that's going to be kind of a fun thing, and the nail thing, but whatever. If they judge me, it's not going to bother me whatsoever. Again, I have no emotions. Yes, what's up? Hang on, it starts with an M, right? This is Madison Link.
Are you going to record for every single class?
No, I just record. What happened is I record one class per day, because if not, it'd be really boring. Plus, the problem with me recording is I can't walk around. In my room, my normal room, I can, because my room is better. But here, I've discovered if I walk around, my voice cuts out, and that makes me sad. I don't like standing in one place because it's boring. So no, I just record the one class, and that's it. No, and the same thing for tonight. Oh, the same thing. I'll just record one class, because it's the same information. Charlie!
Can I sit out there?
If you want to, that's fine. Hang on, you have to give me a shoe. And then do that. The only reason I do that is I found out kids in the past, sometimes would take it like, I'm going to go in the hallway. They just take off running. I trusted Grant not to not trust you, but I figure if you're going to go out there, just take your chair and sit right there. That's fine with me. Oh, I've also had kids, as we're going to talk about today, like one of the bad things that happens to you is I'll make you stand during class. If you just want to stand during class, you can legit just tell them. Because if you sit all the time, you're like, I need to stand, just stand. Now, the thing is, like in these rows here, I can't have you blocking people, so I'm going to have you like just stand to the side a little bit, but legit during the year, if you act like a normal, responsible human, I'm fine with it. If you act like a normal human, I'll treat you like a normal human. Brad?
Hi.
Good conversation. Allie? You said, did you have to? Oh, if you guys come to it, they'll typically just make you sit in the hallway because it's supposed to be just aimed at, like, they don't turn you away. But yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I don't care if you come. It's boring. I mean, well, as boring as any day in my classes. I mean, but yeah, I don't care if you come. But typically they'll make you like sit off to the side. Other teachers might be a bit more grumpy about it, but I mean, I don't care. So if that helps. You gonna try again, Brett? What's up?
Yes. How are you gonna kick the door that way?
I don't need you in logic. This is school.
God,
Obviously, I'm gonna bang into it a bunch of times.
And he's like,
Down, Brett. Day.
and then you'll be like,
Yeah, that's fine. Just over the side. Good to go.
If I stand, will the camera be able to see me?
No, you should be fine if you stand over that way. You should be good to go. Then yeah, again, if you want to stand over there, Carrington, you're good to go. Not that it was going to bring you that much joy. Now again, not that you guys would. The same thing, if you stand and you go over and stand next to someone and then you start screwing around, that becomes a different issue. And again, if you need to stand, because my own children have like wiggle issues. They're like, and so sometimes you have to like move around a little bit. I completely understand. I don't like lock things. Now, back row kids, you can just stand. That's the joy of you guys being back there. You're not blocking anyone, so then you're good to go. Home children, this was not where I thought this conversation was going to go at all. So, learning. All right. So anyway, as far as tonight goes, the parent-teacher conversation thing, if they show up, yay. If not, conversation, good stuff there. All right. Well, that was quite the tipsy. You can't blame me for this because you could blame me, but it would be me because I was trying to be nice and answering your questions. Next time, I'll just blatantly ignore you. Yellow sheet. Those of you who have, why do you guys all have your yellow sheet turned face down? It should be name side up. With all the work you did on it, you should be taking pride in it and having it there for people to see. Home children, we're talking about the yellow sheet thing here. All right. We're going to talk about it in a second, myself. Sorry. There you go. There you go. All right. Now again, those of you who are standing, it doesn't help if you're turning and talking to someone while you're standing. Or for those of you who are in the back, I still see you. But this is where, part of it is, yesterday when we stopped on B points, we had just gotten to the talking bits. So that's why I can't punish you yet. Maybe you don't know not to talk when my mouth is going and you're confused. Don't worry. You'll be educated soon. Yellow sheet. I'm going to come around and grab it from you here in just a moment. Home children, I'm going to pause for a second because this will be the boring bit. So let me come around and grab it from you. Pause. Yeah. With the yellow sheet, so as I go through and talk about this with you, my goal with it was that I need you guys to learn about this whole directions thing. This is not for a grade, because those of you who did it should have figured out as you went through and did all of it, that the whole point of it was that you were supposed to read directions. And I'm fully aware that some of you guys cheated. That's fine. You did not hurt me with your cheating. Now, the cheating is for some of you guys have older siblings who are just like, what are you doing? And they gave you the answers. Others of you have these things called friends who helped you cheat. Some of you guys have this stuff called social media that helped you cheat, which is fine. Here's the thing. You're picking up on the fact that I will actively torture kids in class if you don't follow directions. And even though I say, follow directions in my class, or I'm going to be mean to you, you guys tune me out and go, whatever, old man, So this was my way of trying to help you. And I figure you suffering at home with the little yellow sheet makes you a better person. Thank you very much. So that was what I was going for on this one, because if you don't learn to follow directions in here, I get to be mean to you. And I don't want to be mean to good kids. Those of you who are the good kids, you learned. For some of you, it was a very painful learning. Because how long were you supposed to spend on this? 15 minutes. Some of you spent way more than 15 minutes. Others of you just cheated your way through it. Again, if you did, that's fine with me. It's also why it was on yellow paper, because that made it harder for you to make new copies. If you use the digital one that I sent out, it put example across it, so it made it really hard for you to print off that way. This also made it so you couldn't use whiteout on it, which I've had kids do, whiteout and then try to use marker on it. Because the whole point was follow directions in here. When you guys start Friday with your actual project for me, I hide things in the directions to see which kids do it. And if you're not the kid that reads the directions, then next week when you're standing up in front of the whole class giving a speech, and I go, where's your prop? And you go, prop? I go, the one that was direction 7. And you went, directions? And I'm like, oh, baby, boo. And you're like, and the whole class is staring at, and then that's a much worse feeling than the 15 minutes you spent at your house going, I'm an idiot. So that was my way of trying to help you. Those of you who cheated, you've robbed yourself of learning. Those of you who suffered, well, made things a little better. If you didn't figure it out at all, then on those 55 directions, as you went through and did it, you should have gotten down into the 30s. And when you got to number, I think, 32, it said the only directions you have to follow are numbers 4 and number 5, which says put your birthday on it and put your name on it. And that was it. All of the other directions you did not have to follow at all. Now, to help you with that, the very first direction says, read all the directions. The second direction says, are you reading all the directions? The third direction said, I'm serious. Read the directions. And many of you went, skip, 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 and just started going through it. To make it even better, throughout the whole thing, every time the word read is on there, it's in capital letters and bold-faced. Every time the word direction is on there, it's in capital letters and bold-faced. So when you just glance at it, the only words that are easy to read on the tiny print is read directions, read directions, read the whole way through it. And many of you went, you can't control me, old man, and just powered through. On top of that, for those of you who did it, and I had a lot of you who did, it should have been the most infuriating assignment ever, because that was on purpose, where it would say, on number 1, write a sentence. And then 6 directions later, it would say, did you have an animal in your sentence? You're like, no, you didn't tell me to. And then 4 directions later, it was like, did you have 3 adjectives? You're like, no, you didn't. That was on purpose. At some point, I wanted you to go, this man is insane. And then just like, ugh. And then just like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to read the directions. And then at some point, you would figure it out. But no, you guys were like, stubborn. And you just pushed right through it. But again, I'm not the one that lost that battle. So that was my way of trying to help you. Again, this was my 15 minutes that hopefully you only spent learning a lesson. If not, then again, I'm not the one that suffered. Yeah.
Basically, your job was to make us suffer for 15 minutes?
No.
Or waste our time?
Oh, because the kids who are smart read that one, and they only had to read, which should have taken you all of 4 minutes to read down to number 30 and go, oh, that's all we had to do? Thank God I read the directions. And so really it should have been like a 4-minute assignment to read those directions. But again, for the rest of you, you're like, Mr. Brovicast, you didn't take into effect how big of a dum-dum I am. And I'm like, I tried to. And you're like, you ain't seen a dum-dum like me. And I'm like, okay. Oh, by the way, I do talk to your parents about this tonight. I bring it back up. I'm like, hey, how many of your kids last night did the yellow sheet and struggled? And we get to have like a little bonding thing and stuff like that. I'm like, I mean, they drew a picture of me and stabbed it multiple times.
Joke's on you, I complained about it.
Now, again, my standing children, when you're standing and turning and talking, hang on. I'm going to go ahead and return you guys to your seats. Only because we're struggling and being able to stand. Too late now. It's okay. You come back. We'll try again tomorrow. I'm not hating on you. Return to seats. We'll try again. No, just the kids who are standing. Actually, no. You can stay back there because you've been back on your own. I'll give you. You separated yourself from the other kids, so go you. And the others of you, learn. No. Back you go, Carrington. Nicely done. That's how learning works. Again, no hate. We just learn from it. You guys gathered together, and it's tempting. I understand that. On here, picture thing. For those of you who have not turned in picture yet, that's fine. Here's the thing. I've already updated Skyward. And so you now have Skyward grades updated in there. You have 2, the showing me the notebook, and then also the showing me the picture thing. You don't have to check Skyward. I can tell you right now what your grade is. Did you turn both of them in? You have an A. Did you not turn one of them in? You have an F. Because there's only 2 grades. And so if you only have turned in half of them, that would be a 50%. I'm not good at math, but I can get that far. Now here's the good news. If you did not turn it in yesterday, but you turned it in today, I still give you credit. You just have an A- as opposed to an A+. Those other kids are A+ kids. You're an A- kid. If you're like, but I didn't turn it in today, should I drop out of school now? Possibly, but not because of this. When you do turn it in, I still give you credit. I will always give you credit if you turn a thing in. I'm not math and science that hates children completely. When they go do the homework, and I'm not going to give you any credit. As long as you turn it in, I'm going to give you credit for it because I want the learning to happen. So even with the picture thing, if you don't turn it in until next week, I'm still going to give you credit for it because I want you to get there. Now, on the whole Skyward thing, I update Skyward every weekend. You will never have to go a long time without having things updated in there because I'm fully aware that you guys have no attention span whatsoever. The number of times kids turn a thing in and go, here's my homework assignment, is it graded? And I'm like, it's in my hands. And I'm like, patience, child. So I know that we struggle with that. So I will work hard. I'm a teacher. I have no life. So I'm going to grade your stuff immediately and get it on to Skyward. Plus, it allows the big people in your house to yell at you. Because I know with other classes, you can turn a thing in and go, "Oh, I failed that. My parents won't know for 6 weeks because that teacher takes forever." No. As soon as you turn it in for me, I grade it and then put it out there so that the big people can go, "Grumpy, grumpy," and they can come right at you. And it allows for the bonding to happen. So now, those of you who turned it in today, the problem is I'm not going to update your grade till this weekend. So that big F just sits there and haunts you for a little bit. And then the weekend happens, I update it, and then you're good to go. You just have to have a little bit of patience to get there. So those of you who are still missing a thing, make sure I get it from you. And then you should be good to go. My goal is to eventually bump you. Because I know I still have a handful of you on here who are still missing a picture. I still want it from you. You still bring me a picture, we'll be good to go. Yes, Miles?
So is it going to be full credit if you bring in the picture?
One more time louder.
Is it going to be full credit if you just
Good question. And the answer is no. And I will always give you credit. It just won't be full credit. It'll be like, because then it's not fair to the kids who turn it in on time. So I'm always going to give you credit. I just charge you a couple points for it. So you still get, usually you'll still get to at least a C, unless like you turn it in late and it's like also like a steaming pile of crap. Then in that case, I can't give you a C because you're like, and then you're going to have an issue. But as long as you turn it in and try, I'll give you points for it. All right. There. End of class. Just real quick, because on this part, I told you we're getting ready to start doing the whole torture thing. At the end of class, when the bell rings and kids stand up and you want to fill their heart with love, the way you do to fill their heart with love,
point at them?
Point at them.
point at them and smile. So far I've had a couple of classes where that happens. If you stand up and the kids point at you and smile and you sit back down, no hate, I don't charge you points. But I've had some classes where that happens and the kid just goes like, "Don't care," and just runs out the classroom. Okay. I'm not going to chase you. I'm a cross-country coach. I can catch you. It's not hard to do.
No. I'm too fast.
Good luck. So with that one, I just let you go, and then I just charge you B points. If you have B points to spend, go you. You bought yourself out of it. For some of you, though, you're not going to have points. The next day when you come into class, there's going to be a little detention slip just taped to your seat when you sit down. And you're going to go, "What's this?" I'm going to go, "Yesterday, you just left class while I was teaching." You're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "You earned a prize. That's your prize." And then you get your prize from there. So I'm just trying to help you guys not do a thing. So help you guys out from there. All right. Now, this part. Now let's go talking about the bad kids thing. We'll try to be as fast as possible. We started talking about talking with you guys yesterday, right? We got to that part with you guys and the whole. Then we talked about if someone's talking to you and you don't want to get in trouble, what do? We did. Hand and face and stuff like that. Then again, this is the part. Now, nothing against you guys. You guys are a very talkative class, which I completely understand, and it's fine. We just have to find a balance, because I don't want to yell at you, because that makes I don't want to be a yelly teacher, but I also can't have you guys talking while I am. So when you guys did like the standy thing, and we're standing over there, if you can do that and not talk, that's fine. But some of you guys like talking as much as I do, and when that happens, you're going to make me crush you more. So our goal is to try and avoid letting me crush you as much. So again, if you've been one of the kids standing over here and the kid was turning and talking to you and you had done this thing, then you could still be standing like he is. But you weren't. You guys were all turning like, and that's when the bad things happen.
I wasn't even talking to you.
Oh, now see what? Here's where Carrington's confused. Because I'm me and my mouth is moving, and then Carrington's mouth started moving because he thought he was as special as me. Silly Carrington. That would be the confusing bits that come in. But soon, the crushing will happen. Yes, Grant?
So let's say
Uh-huh.
him.
Yeah, we go ahead.
Let's say he has 0 points and I have a lot. And I want to get him detention.
Uh-huh.
If I just talk to him and he doesn't have any points but I do, you deduct points from both.
Except what would Day do because Day's smart?
Not talk.
And? Uh-huh. Day would throw a hand in your face.
But
like,
what if he doesn't?
Well, then that would be a Day issue, then I get to mean to Day.
If Day doesn't, that means
Then yeah.
he
then
will
you-
get detention.
Then you get to drag him down.
That means if someone is stupid, I can get them detention.
Absolutely. And all part of it, that's part of the learning parts. If you're like, "Mr. Brovicast, that's not," yeah, it is. Don't be dumb. Problem solved. I've literally just told you how to avoid it.
I know how to get.
It's like going, if I walk in front of a car, am I going to get hit? Yeah. Prove it.
I've already done that.
I just told you what not to do. So we're trying to help you out.
Hey, Mr.
All
Brovicast.
right, Charlie, what's up? By the way, you don't have to say Mr. Brovicast. Your hand being raised, that lets me know you want to ask a question. What's up,
Okay.
Charlie?
So, if somebody that has 50 points,
Uh-huh.
so, they switch with somebody else that has 15 points, right when the other person that got their seat taken away from them goes to another seat, they get spend their 50 points to get their seat back.
We're going to get there coming up in a moment. Hold on to that thought. All right, let me get through this part. We'll come to your questions. We barely even touched the very beginning of it. All right, so it's there, the talking thing. You guys got really excited on that one. The other part of it. This one I've got a feeling might apply to you guys more. The generally making me angry and want to strangle you. So I used to have a list of things up there of like not to do, like don't poke the kid next to you, don't push their things on the ground, don't write on my walls, don't rip off the wallpaper. But then I found out some kids use it as like a checklist, and they're like, I'm gonna do that one and that one and that one still are. And so now, anytime you do a thing that makes me want to strangle you, like I don't know, sleeping in class, or pushing things onto the ground, or jabbing a kid with a pen, and I'm like, why would you? I'm just gonna and I want to strangle you. I charge you points. And so it's anywhere from 1 to all. Yeah, you're not me. Irritating you is, yeah, I see her. It's okay. I'm aware. For those of you who are unaware, I see all things that happen in my class. Again, I just don't attack everyone. Damn, Tiger. How many points do I charge you? Between 1 and all of your points, depending again on how much I like you. The more I like you, the fewer points I charge you. The less I like you, the meaner I'm going to be to you. And so I also have a force field that goes around my desk that's over here. And it's going to be, when we get back to my actual room, I have a force field that goes around my desk there. The reason being is that I have personal space issues. Not with you guys. I like creeping up on top of you. That brings me joy. It was like I can stand on top of Mizell right here while I'm teaching, and it just makes me feel like a better person. But for me, because I'm surrounded by kids all day, I need my happy place. And this is my happy place. And so in my classroom and in here, that's me, I have created this force field that goes around my desk. It's invisible and make-believe. But if you cross my force field, then it makes me feel sad and I end up charging you points and being mean to you. Part of the reason is, as a teacher, I live in constant fear of the student revolution, of being overthrown by kids rising up to overthrow their teacher overlords. And so knowing that this is my special area, if you come into my special area, I assume the student revolution has begun and they are sending you as the first one. So in that case, I have to drop you as fast as possible. So when you come into my area, it's typically going to be a throat punch, because it's the thing I practiced. Now, not that one, just open hand, right into the throat, and it crushes the thing. And then when you can't, you're like, when you're on the ground yelling. That way, it gives me a chance to run and alert the other teachers. Viva la revolutionary! And so the fact that the kids are coming, and we're going to try and fight back. So don't go into my area because I freak out. Here's the other reason why. In my desk area, I have toys everywhere behind my desk. And if you are unaware of this, kids have a special superpower that every kid has, which is as soon as you touch something, it breaks. And most kids don't even realize they have the power. They just go, oh, that's so cool. Can I touch it? Oh, bro, I'm sorry, I didn't know. And so it's just a thing that happens. And I learned that they didn't teach me that in teacher college. I found that out the hard way when a kid gave me a toy and I put it behind my desk. And another kid goes, can I go see that thing? I'm like, yeah, John gave that to me. Isn't that cool? He's like, yeah. And he went, it was a chia pet, little thing. It's like a little head, you like smear stuff on, like the plane. It's like, cha-cha-chi. That's great. And then the kid picked it up and it just broke. As soon as he touched, he was like, look, it's so, it just fell apart. I'm like, it can't even do that. He's like, I don't. So because of that, I don't want you going behind my desk because you might break my stuff. Now, I'm not worried about your cooties, and you all have cooties, but everything on my wall has cooties because kids have already touched it. It all came from kids in the first place. I just don't want you guys to break my stuff. Hence, force field things. Okay, fine. And so, as an example, let's say Susie. And Susie comes in, and Susie wants to go behind my desk. And Susie's like, oh, it looks like it's so much fun back there. And she goes behind my desk. That makes me sad. Because either one, she's going to go back there and use her superpowers, which scares me, or she's trying to start the student revolution, and I have to take her down. So in that case, It makes me angry.
What
And
the-
when I become angry, I'm going to have to crush Susie. And this becomes a metaphor. I'm not actually going to use an anvil because they're really heavy. And I'd have to like, and then I chase after you. And it's really hard to hit a kid with an anvil. I'm like, slow down so I can hit you. And they never do. They just keep running. But metaphorically, I'm going to chuck it at you and crush you, and then you're going to die. So don't go behind my desk. By the way, I might not show this screen to your parents tonight. I'd be threatening to kill you. I don't guarantee things, but I might just mention it. Now, given it's now on video for the parents who have watched it, so the parents are like, did you show a video of you killing a child? And I'm like, it was a cartoon. It's fine. But anyway, don't go behind my desk. It freaks me out. Marius, did you have a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up?
So you know, if we have 0 points and you said if you want to strangle us, could you just strangle us instead of making a conversation?
The problem is, one of the things we're also going to learn is whenever you commit a crime, don't do it in front of witnesses. So if I'm going to strangle you, I'm not going to do it with 26 other kids watching, because then I either have to bribe all of you or just be like, all right, line up, and they come after you. So I wait until like a dark alley. It's a much better way of going about things. Karen, wait, hang on. Yeah. After tomorrow, you have to wait. We're going to get to the rest of these things. We're a little behind you guys already because you guys like to talk as much as I do. So there's, oh, also, my boards. My 8th graders get to write on my boards over here. If you survive an entire year of my class and you come back to visit me still, if you're like, I survived a year, I'm coming back to haunt you, I let my 8th graders write up here. They can't write mean things or I erase it. But you guys can't write up there.
That guy said bald.
Yeah, it's not mean to you. They'd be mean to me. I have no emotions. They just can't write like, Joey's a dum-dum, because then that makes me mad and I ban the kid from my room. They don't get to attack you. I get to attack you. And they don't get to rob me of my fun. But you guys also don't get to write up there. So I don't want you guys to come in and be like, I'm a special child too. Now, you might be able to. If you earn enough B points, eventually you can write up here. And you can write whatever special thing you want. Like, I'm better than all y'all. Because you are if you're writing up there. But you can't write up there. So I'll write on my boards. And then there, oh, throwing things. Don't throw things at kids in my room. Like if they need like a pen or a pencil or a book and then you chuck it. Because much like kids have the superpower of breaking things, they also have the superpower of not being able to catch things and thinking they can. They'd be like, all the time, like, I got it! And just whack right into the face. Again, hilarious until the kid has to go to the nurse and I get yelled at. And they're like, did you let a kid chuck a thing? I'm like, I didn't try to let him. He just threw it at the chuck. And so you can't throw things. And I used to say that, and the kids were like, I can't throw things. I can't throw things in the trash. Fine. You can throw things in my room as long as they go in one place,
Let's throw it into the
which
trash.
is the trash. So you can throw things here, which also means if you can only throw things in the trash, if you throw things at someone else, what are you calling them?
Trash.
Now you're bullying a child, and I have to get involved. So you can't throw things at no. There's also a recycling bin, so you can throw things in the recycling bin for paper. Now, with that, if you have the skills, like if Julian can sit back over there and throw a thing from there and make it in and be like, buckets! More power to you. I won't stop you. If you miss, I charge you points. 3 points every time you miss. Now, some of you guys really struggle, and you're going to be right here like, I got it! I'm still charging you points because you're a special soul. And so, now, at the same time, if Julian throws it from there, and all of a sudden, Daniel jumps up and he's like, SWAT! And knocks it out of the way, Julian was not the last one to touch it. Daniel. So then the last one to touch it is the one to lose points. So if you swat a thing, you're also losing points. Now, along those same lines, you can't take a paper ball and then walk over and just chuck it at Brett and be like, he swatted it! Yeah, again, I know you think teachers are idiots. And many of them are. But I can figure out that part. So again, just jump to the point. Again, if you have questions, you're going to have to wait. We're going to get there. I know. You're already excited to throw things, but we're not there yet.
But what you're
But
saying
again,
is so counterintuitive.
if you can throw a thing and make it, that's fine. And there's a trash can there, and there's like trash cans over there, and trash can over here. Just don't miss. I don't have to charge you. Now, oh, also, I like throwing things at you. It brings me joy. It was one of the classes I passed in college, chucking things at kids 101. I was great in that class. And so as we get into things, I will chuck stuff at you nonstop. Like whenever we have like a new book to read, I'm like, chuck, 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 just right at you. Whenever I have to hand out like pens or pencils, chuck, 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 I'm gonna chuck them right at you all the time. It brings me joy. If you don't catch them, that's fine. I just make fun of you. You'd be like, fuck, 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 hit you right in the head, like, I'm a unicorn, and then down you go. Again, a you issue. Here's the problem. Do not throw things back at me. If you do, I charge you points. And I'm going to tell you, now by the way, this is that following directions thing, because I'm telling you now, don't throw things at me. I'm going to try to get you to throw things at me so that I can charge you points because I'm a horrible person. Tomorrow, when we set up your notebook, I'm going to throw Sharpies at you guys so that way you guys can write your name on the front of it. Yeah. When you get done with the Sharpie, you go, Mr. Brovicast, I'm done. I go, throw it here. You go, okay, and you'll just chuck it at me. I won't even try to catch it. I'll just leave my hands there, and it'll just go whack and like slide down my face. I go, did you just throw that at me? And you're like, you put your hands up. I'm like, why would you throw things at a teacher? And so I will yell at you and then charge you points. So again, don't throw things at me. I will throw things at you. For those of you who have your hands up, you're going to want to write things down. I'm still going to have to ignore you because you guys slow me down a little bit. Don't throw at me. Oh, not having class material. How much time do I have with you guys? To there, end of this, and all right. Not having class materials. A thing that we've already struggled with in here. So when I say, hey, get out, say, that white piece of paper you're supposed to have. If you don't have it, I charge you B points for it. Now, we've already covered you can borrow one from me. What do you have to give me to borrow one from me? Starting tomorrow, it costs a shoe and 1 B point. It is both B point and a shoe. Or you can spend 3 B points and just buy a brand new one. And that's fine with me also. So if you want to buy one, 3 points, or 1 and a shoe to borrow one. If it's in your locker, what could you use instead of B points? Hall pass, and that's fine with me too. So if it's in your locker, you can use a hall pass to get it. If not, I start charging you points, and this is where the whole you guys losing points and it going down comes in. So that'd be the whole class. Oh, also, we'll hit this real quick. Class directions. I keep hitting this whole follow directions thing with you. Whenever you don't, I charge you. If you make me do work because you're being lazy and not paying attention, I charge you points. Beginning of class tomorrow, when it has the directions up there, if you make me have to say, hey, Bobby, what are you doing? You're like, staring at the wall. Then I'm going to have to yell at you more. I charge you points for it. Or if we're having like time to read in class, instead of reading, you're like just licking the desk for some reason. And I'm like, what are you doing? And like, it tastes like a desk. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Again, charge you. Tomorrow, we're going to get to this point tomorrow, and the fun things happen. So I'm proud of you guys. You're helping Charlie learn. Because tomorrow when Charlie does this and does not go back to his seat, what do I do to help Charlie tomorrow? Today, we're just going to let you guys leave because today is a practice day. Tomorrow is the fun day.